As a business, we've been open every single day for the last 4 years. Holidays, snowstorms, we have been open. If we had to close the store because we didn't have any product to offer people, that would be so devastating.
Hello.
Welcome to the Grow.
Thanks.
Awesome. You guys want to take a look around?
Yeah, show us around this place.
Cool. You got it.
I was checking Craigslist. I found a store and a garden location for sale. We're hoping to show up today, check this place out, strike a deal before anyone else gets to it.
8,800 square feet is what the guy
It's the footprint.
advertised.
Yep.
That is awesome.
This garden should be capable of producing almost $1 million a month worth of product. It'll allow us to supply upwards of 5 stores with this one garden alone. You know, I've got investors now that are willing to buy your Crested Butte store, your Oak Creek garden, all these plants, all this inventory. You shake my hand today, we'll sign a deal. You get your money tomorrow.
850 total?
850,000 total.
Marijuana, pot, grass, whatever you want to call it, is probably the most dangerous drug in the United States.
I shall continue to oppose efforts to legalize marijuana.
I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
What we're doing now is creating the next big tobacco of our time.
This is a highly regulated business.
We're talking about daylighting a black market activity.
We are on the cutting edge of a brand new industry.
This is absolutely the next gold rush. This is the green rush.
Now the dominoes are falling, especially when they see the economic revenue.
There's $2 billion to be had next year. I plan to take more than my fair share.
Hello, welcome to the Breck Buzz. I got 2 wonderful guests with me today, Mayor John Warner and Councilmember Gary Gallagher. It wouldn't be a Breck Buzz without a little bit of discussion about marijuana. We have had now a little bit of experience to see what's occurred. What are some of the things that we've seen?
Well, one thing we've seen is the first week or so, long lines at least the Cannabis Club on Main Street in Breckenridge. I'm not familiar with the 3 outfits out on Airport Road. A lot of anticipation about things that might happen, that it might be the work of the devil, et cetera. And it really has worked out in a fairly benign way.
It seems like a non-event to some extent, and a fairly decent revenue generator if they're doing that much business. So.
Yeah.
We chose this location in 2009. Here we are in 2014, living the dream that we had. That was to pay high rent, be downtown, supply medical marijuana from this location until the day that we could supply retail recreational marijuana for the tourists that we watched walk by our door for the last 4 years. And now they all come in, hundreds of them a day. In Breckenridge, we really have 0 true competition. There's a couple guys in the skirts of town that have a parking lot, this thing or that thing, but there's no one downtown. We're the only ones in the core of Breckenridge. We're the only ones that are really in the town.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can really call it competition when we're doing 3 times the sales that they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 right there.
What was the count on those 20s?
We had 47 bundles of $2,000, so 94,000 just in 20s.
$94,000. We have $130,000 in a few boxes that we just counted this morning that we need to put in the bank today. For the first time in, I think, the history of businesses, we've done above and beyond what we planned to do. All right, we'll see you soon. All right, bye. ATM's ordered. If we have 500 customers a day, half of them use the ATM, we make $1.50. It's another $450 a day. This is a little over $10,000 right here, and it represents what happens when the banks do not do business with the marijuana industry.
The idea that marijuana businesses would have difficulty finding banking services didn't really come to the forefront until after January 1st. Because it's federally regulated, marijuana is still an illegal substance under federal law. Banks are precluded by federal law from doing business with an illegal business. And marijuana shops, even though they're theoretically and technically legal in Colorado, are illegal under federal law.
We have nearly 30 employees, all 30 employees get paid in cash.
That means that Allie has got to sit there and count out every single employee's check to the penny.
It's extremely tedious. Allie, here you go.
This payroll?
It's about 22,000.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. We do payroll like any normal company would do. Do the hours, calculate it, send it out to our accountant. What we have to do, since we don't have a bank account, is we have to basically cash these checks with our cash on hand. I'm pretty good. I'm getting a lot faster. It took a little bit to kind of learn the system here. So I basically just lay out all the cash that I think I might need. Try to use the big bills because I count so much money every day. It's just easier to deal with the hundreds. This happens about every 2 weeks. Takes a nice chunk of my day. Awful.
You'll get issued a little check. The only place you can cash it is right here in our safe. You sign for it as if you're cashing your check at a regular bank, and then they give you your cash. When people rob banks, they often walk away with less than this amount of money. And here I am, with it in my hand.
Thank you.
Sweet. Have a
All right,
good
have a good
one.
one,
Later,
Lauren.
Desi.
80% of the pot in Breckenridge was coming out of their doors in the wintertime. That's just not right. It's not fair that when there's 4 businesses that one gets 80%, not because they have the best price, product, and service, but because they have the best location.
There you go.
Essentially, we have 2 locations in town where there are dispensaries currently. Right out here on Airport Road, we have 4 marijuana dispensaries, 3 of which are some combination of recreational and dual, and 1 that's strictly medical. And then we have 1 marijuana dispensary that's on Main Street.
We should probably point out that they will be there only through 2014.
September of 2014.
Because council passed the ordinance that we don't want recreational marijuana dispensaries in our downtown area.
When I was on council, we set up a zone to put the retail shops on Airport Road. And out of being, nice guys from a legislative standpoint, we were told that they had a lease that expired August 31st of 2014. All right, we'll grandfather you in for 8 months, then you're out on September 1st. They had an unparalleled economic advantage by being the only shop on Main Street for 8 months. This town would never in a million years say there can only be 1 pizza restaurant, or there can only be 1 hamburger restaurant, there can only be 1 t-shirt shop. That's what we did. We virtually created a monopoly for them.
No one talks about the 3 stores total that were downtown.
No
Us being one of
about
them.
the other stores. There were
It's not like we were handed this 1 location.
No.
There were 3 of us, since there isn't enough proceeds on Main Street for medical marijuana sales to support 3 stores in the
It just
situation.
really bothers me that they keep saying that they're giving us this monopoly when every single one of the businesses all opened under the same zoning codes, and we all made our own decisions, and now I feel like we're being punished for the risk that we took.
2 of us had to go.
Yeah.
We made it.
Brian has to go to Airport Road, then he's going to compete on price, product, and service with the 3 other shops that are on Airport Road.
Hey, come here, what do you got there?
That's my sock. Come here.
Give me that sock, come here. Give me that sock.
It's my sock.
After we get done with Crested Butte in the next 90 days, we'll be starting on the applications for stores number 3 and 4. It's gonna be a lot to try and figure out how to do 3 stores at one time.
More stores.
I know, more headaches. I can't wait.
Ah.
Are you ready, Gunny? Then we can afford you better dog food.
As if 1 wasn't big enough of a headache.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Cheers.
Cheers, huh?
My name is Nick Nyline, and I grow marijuana for a living. This is my office.
Nick, he's our head grower. He's our head garden manager. First and foremost, we need to have weed, and that's what we lacked for 4 years. We had great customer service. We had other people's products on our shelf, but we never had any of our own.
In this room, we probably have about 20, 25 different strains in here right now.
Nick joined with us about a year ago. He was trained in-house, and he has become our weed genius.
Here at the BCC, we grow nice, good quality, dense buds. They're very flavorful, probably one of the best organic buds you're gonna see around.
We have to be able to take advantage while margins are high, while prices are high, and we can afford a few hiccups, but not problems like we had during medical marijuana.
The difficulties in growing marijuana is they're very picky. You overwater them once, they produce half as much. You underwater them, they could die. You know, it's hard because with different strains, each one of them are individual.
Nick does a really good job in the garden. He takes very good care of his plants, he pays attention to detail, and he does everything on time, which is really important with the plants. But the new garden that Nick's managing, when it's fully built out, will be 10 times the size of the garden in Breckenridge. At this point, we're putting a lot of responsibility on Nick's shoulders to produce the product that we need him to produce in order for the business to be successful. No matter what we're doing, if we don't have weed to sell, we're not going to run a successful marijuana retail business.
On this ridiculously cold day, I am about to get my very first tattoo. I'm a pretty analytical and calculated person, but I try to, like, force myself to do stuff like this. It does incorporate marijuana into it subtly. It's not just like pot leaf right there. Just have to try not to flinch.
Oh, don't worry, you won't.
This guy holding some balloons, one of them is a pot leaf. A little stoned, he's dropped his ice cream cone on the ground and hasn't noticed. He's looking up at the sky. To me, it's also a reminder that, you know, you should never take life too seriously. That there's always fun to be had and that, you know, you shouldn't let the bad stuff get you down. I'm pretty terrified right now. I mean, like, I'm trying to put on a brave face, but I'm pretty freaked out. I think that BCC is, you know, really a place that I feel at home. I've kind of hopped around. I've never really been serious about anything. I've never really known what I want to do with my life, you know, and I feel like I found a place that I can be and that I'm comfortable. It's a lot easier to, you know, not sleep for an entire 36 hours when you love the people that you're doing it for.
Maura is one of the 2 employees we've had for the last several months. She recently got promoted to an assistant manager at the store, which is nice for her, and I think it's nice for the store, too. She's outspoken, she's very creative, she has a lot of great ideas.
So we really appreciate you have been working your asses off.
Sweet.
And, you know, we couldn't have done this without you, so we have some little presents from me and Lauren. It's just a joint and a sticker. Just want you to enjoy.
Yeah, check out the stickers. They're
really
pretty sweet. And Maura and I have both decided that we want a demotion because you guys and your karma jars, damn it.
My chip jars has never looked like that. Come by the shop, we'll throw you a sizable discount off of our ridiculous prices.
So Maura and I actually went to high school together, which is just kind of a random fact. She adds a different dynamic to the store, which is nice. She's a little bit more analytical than Lauren, a little bit less bubbly maybe. She does very well with the customers, but she... I think sometimes she kind of intimidates people. She's got a very loud personality, and she's got a very loud voice. You can hear her talking from a mile away, and she's going to tell you how it is.
Just 2 things we're struggling with for her, and that is staying on task and being on time. And those are both very important, and if she wants to move up the company, she'll have to work on those. And so the future holds what Maura brings to it.
I don't like that one.
So on the first, did you guys make a loot? Make all the money?
We have blown our estimates out of the water. We actually just bought the licensing to a medical store down in Crested Butte. We're gonna move on getting that recreational, I think, as soon as we can get our heads above water here. None of us will ever sleep again.
So along with the Oak Creek garden license came this awesome storefront. We're heading to Crested Butte today to really start taking over. The previous owner did not have it open for the past couple of weeks, and so we are ready to get in there and take control.
We should be able to do maybe $3 million out of this store annually.
I was actually expecting it to be more of a closet.
Yeah, like all the rooms in our
This is pretty
Breckenridge
cool.
location.
This is a pretty badass space.
We just get new cabinets, move the office into that corner,
Yep.
make the L go the other way,
Yep.
and then tear this wall down and put a gift shop from here to the front door.
It's gonna be a pretty badass second location.
All the hard work we've put in has made it hard to be satisfied with mediocre, even good returns, and we're making good returns right now. But, you know, I've got at least 5-10 years left of real good work in me. You know, I plan to get great returns. How goes it?
Hey, hi. It's actually really pretty good.
That's not so bad?
No, the outline was worse, but now it's just kind of a dull bleh.
Didn't I?
Yeah. You know, this is also like a commemorative tattoo. Like, and I really think that, you know, we made history this last week. This has been a huge deal, and it's going to be a story I tell hundreds of times for the rest of my life. You know, not to mention I love you guys, and I'm just really happy to, like, work my ass off for you.
Oh, thanks. We love you too. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Yeah, good job.
It's been amazing.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
Yeah, totally.
Good luck.
Yay.
Good job. Good job. It looks good.
Yay. Yes. I'll come and see you guys. I'm sure I'll be late for work again. Fired.
She's got to be out of here by 2:50.
Get the rest of the ink off there. There you go.
Wow. I really like it.
Uller is the Nordic god of snow, so every year Breckenridge likes to have a celebration and celebrate our snow gods. On Thursday, we're gonna have the Uller Parade, which is really the highlight of Uller Fest. So we asked some of our employees to come on over to our house and have them help us build this float for the parade.
The idea here is that the flexibility should be enough that we can make a joint-shaped product and get inside of it. We'll wrap it up real quick, set it on the trailer, put the lights in the front, put the green trees in the back looking like a little bit of pot coming out, and then just cut a hole in the top like a canoe and stand inside there. Yeah, success.
Keep it up.
Our goal is to advertise to the council, to the customers, or the potential customers, people who may be thinking, you know, hey, I was gonna go and get drunk again tonight, but what else could I do? You could recreate with marijuana instead of getting drunk. I haven't had time to, you know, be home in the daylight in well over a week. So this is kind of nice to be able to relax and play and build our brand at the same time. All the drawers should be ready. I asked Lauren at 2 o'clock to have all of the drawers ready for the 3 o'clock exchange. All she has to do is bring $500 in, set it down, the new guy counts it. It takes 2 minutes and he's ready to rock and roll. Okay, well, Lauren should have corrected you. Make sure we get that done. So I told Lauren to have the cash drawers ready at 2 so we wouldn't have this problem. They go to get the cash drawers together, can't find enough 1s and 5s because they're on the deposit boxes. And they're like, where are all the 1s and 5s? I told her to do this at 2, specifically for this reason. And then Maura thought that for some reason, without receiving any communication after our meeting yesterday, that we changed policy overnight without telling anybody and just made up some new policy. It's making me furious. I will fire everyone involved if they don't start to listen.
Is so funny. They throw out condoms every year. It's like a legit adult party in the middle of downtown Breck. I think our float will be received pretty well. Oh, I found it! I found it! Look at this. Nice. The girls are on their way.
The mayor is able to lift our open container restrictions. So for Uller Fest, they don't actually have a liquor license, but the mayor does lift the restrictions on open containers for Main Street and the bonfire, just because it would become a nightmare if he didn't.
What we want to do with any kind of drug is reduce the number of people using it. Yes, some people are responsible, but a whole lot of people are irresponsible people. Alcohol is our best example. We have 11,000 people killed every year by drunk drivers. We accept that? It shouldn't be acceptable. So there's what happens when you have a drug that's readily available, socially acceptable, a low perception risk, and relatively cheap. I don't want that for the other drugs.
Oh, we're making our presence known. Everyone
everyone after this parade is going to know that they can come in and buy weed at our store. I like how we have the youngest kids behind us right now. It's terrible. The only kids in this whole parade. We're going.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, everyone brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. Yeah. Clearly, using marijuana is not as dangerous as alcohol. But having said that, there's also evidence that it's not completely safe, especially harms to children. As children are involved in developing their lives, developing their brains, it's important that they not be exposed to substances like alcohol and marijuana, which can have adverse effects.
Are we hypocritical to accommodate so much tolerance for alcohol while at the same time not tolerating marijuana? We closed down Main Street basically for the purpose of drinking beer and, you know, having a big party.
When people say family-friendly, what they're really saying is conservative. And this town has never been conservative. That's not who we are. You could walk down the street, this town is not conservative.
Mr. Mayor, hello, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, we want cannabis!
From my business, I have concerns that there's unknowns about how the rest of the country is going to perceive shops up and down Main Street.
Our bread and butter is tourism. That's how we make all of our money, and that's how we have a rec center and have a performing arts center and an ice arena, and you just don't want to kill the golden goose.
Everything does lead back to money somehow. It's all about what are the tourists going to think.
Some people on the town council are owners of giant resort lodges at the base of the mountain, and obviously their interest is to try to cater more to that perception issue.
If you're a group of guys and you're going to go skiing and you have a choice between Utah and Colorado, well, maybe you're going to choose Colorado for
not if
some
you're a
obvious
parent.
reasons.
You're not going to choose Colorado if you're a parent. You're going to go to Utah.
They're afraid that they're going to not only lose business in general, but get a lower class of clientele. They're afraid that the town in general will become cheaper.
The resorts are powerful players, and they care a whole lot about the message that gets out about the town, about the brand, is what they're really focused with. I mean, these people, who knows, they might get high all the time behind closed doors, but out here in the public eye, they want this to remain Disney World.
I feel like this could have an impact on everyone's business in this community. When pot is okay on Main Street USA, then I'm fine with it being on Main Street Breckenridge, but not until then.
Amazing. Everybody loves weed in Breckenridge. Who knew?
At least everyone was standing on the sidewalk today.
We knew.
We knew.
We knew.
Oh my God.
This is all weed.
Does it ever end?
For you to inventory.
Yay! Cannabis Club. We do not have any edibles until Thursday. I'm not sure when they're gonna get here on Thursday. I would definitely recommend calling in before you come by. It's kind of crazy to be like living something that you know is gonna be like a huge part of your life forever.
It's like just now setting in how real that all was. What are you doing over there to our weed? Why are you dancing with our buds?
Watch.
Watch. Oh my gosh, Maura. What are you doing? I'm so glad we're paying you right now to dance with our buds.
That's what you pay me the big bucks for.
I walk by this store literally every day on my way to work, and I never buy anything from here. It'll be the first shopping day for me. I usually just get hand-me-down clothes from Brian's sister and my mom. It just feels nice to be able to buy something and put something new in your wardrobe. As a girl, you always want to spice up your wardrobe and look nice, and I finally get to do that. I keep looking at the price tags. It's weird because it all seems too expensive, but I can afford it now. Weird. First outfit.
Oh, those look great.
Thank you. This is nice. It's like kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Like this is weird. I don't know where I would wear this to, but
I would wear it. Ooh, cool, awesome. I like that one a lot.
I do have to say that I agree as a business owner that the retail marijuana does not need to be on Main Street, Breckenridge.
Couldn't decide which ones I wanted, so I think I'm just gonna take it all.
Excellent. I think the retail marijuana customer isn't the same demographic as my general customer. But hey, I don't know. You know, a woman could be here with marijuana in her purse and I wouldn't know.
Ready to get started?
Yeah, with me. I'm excited.
It's gonna look fabulous, darling.
That's what we're going for. Fabulous.
You are?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Ooh. You are probably going to cringe when I say this, but in the last 4 years, I think I've paid for one haircut. Then I had my boyfriend cut my hair once. And I told you.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that to me before.
Exactly. It's terrible. I can barely even tell anyone. I'm surprised I told you.
I'm glad that you told me.
It's weird taking me time right now. It's fair that we get to spend a little bit of money on ourselves. It's hard, you know, year after year, seeing the same pants that you've had just get worse and worse. Now I have some more money, I just don't know if I have any time. If I can keep both of those things around, though, I'll be a pretty lucky lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Every day should be like this. This is the best day ever. It feels so good. This is what we've been working for.
In about 24 hours, the state has nearly run out of pot. Marijuana shortages.
Colorado's marijuana retailers are open for business, and business is booming. Demand is far outstripping supply.
Business was better than even the owners could have expected.
We call everyone that has a state license every week and ask them how they're doing. Everyone.
Most people
not
laugh
like one
at
or two
us.
people.
They literally laugh us off the phone when we
hang
ask
up
them
on us.
We're paying about $10 a gram at the wholesale level right now.
And we're buying every bit of it that comes on the radar. We just buy it. Look at this. Still needs trim. This is, I mean, this is not manicured at all. It's kind of wet, to tell you the truth.
Jeff and I weighed everything, and I'd say 20 to 30% of it looks like that. We can't sell that.
So how much of this did we buy?
15 pounds.
15 pounds. How much did we pay?
It was $3,500 a pound.
So we just spent $50,000 on this, and a quarter of it we can't even sell for bud.
Yes.
This is why we need our own garden. We can't rely on what other people have at $3,800 a pound or whatever the hell we just paid for that.
We have too high overhead to be losing 25% every time we have a bag of weed around.
I mean, we have to get this garden producing. That's just the only answer.
What do we got going on around here these days?
I think we're falling behind a little bit.
Yeah. These are the same size as the last time I was here. Are we behind on production?
Yeah, we're probably like 2 weeks behind, maybe, you know?
I get no calls from him saying there's any problems. I just come by for a standard checkup. Nick tells me we're 2 weeks behind schedule. Since a week after you left, we haven't gotten anything done right. Why are we 2 weeks behind?
I got thrown into problems. You know, things aren't the same everywhere. This building is a big piece of shit. The water's different here, doesn't stay heated, gets cold spots in here, the temperature's hard to regulate, it's super humid in here.
At $20,000 a day, that's like $300,000 of production that we're behind.
This building needs a lot of work, and I can't grow and fix the building at the same time. It's not like Breck. All the kinks have been worked out. We have a lot to do. I'm growing at 10 times the scale as I used to.
The new garden that Nick's managing, when it's fully built out, will be 10 times the size of the garden that he managed in Breckenridge. Soon enough, we will be shutting down our Breckenridge garden, so we won't even have another garden to fall back on.
Things will come around. I'll get it, but there's only so much I can do.
Right now, Oak Creek Garden doesn't supply anything for our businesses except for overhead. If Oak Creek doesn't produce, we'll be out of money, and we'll have to sell everything and walk away with what we've got in equity.
When you think about the product they have that's so valuable and prone to theft, and you think about the cash nature of the business, this was becoming a public safety issue for some of these companies. They are essentially operating a cash business here.
We had one incident where the people had closed, gone out into the parking lot to go home, and were taken back in at gunpoint, taken down the basement of the dispensary, and the manager was forced to open the safe.
There's $100,000 in the safe. I'm a 100-pound girl closing the shop at night with nobody there. I think that I have a high-risk job. This store is in an old house, you know, that doesn't have reinforced locks. I mean, hell, we don't even have the key to the back door. So if someone breaks down the front door, I have no exit. A lot of places in Denver, they have armored cars come and pick up the money. They have steel bars. They have bulletproof glass, you know, blocking the person.
They're also in Denver.
Yes,
even lots of liquor stores have those in Denver. We don't have those in our liquor stores. So the risk is mitigated by where we are.
Do they have a safe with upwards of $200,000 in cash sometimes? I think that bubble mindset is very dangerous.
We are step by step trying to figure out what we need to do to increase security. We discussed having a security guard here.
I feel like with all this money, I'm really worried it's going to change them, and I'm also very worried it's already happened.
People with high-risk positions, they get paid more. There's something called hazard pay.
I understand. So
that's a thing that exists.
If you were to go to 7-Eleven now and ask the man who works the night shift what he gets paid, my guess is it's less than $15 an hour.
I'm only actually making about $13 an hour. When you divide my salary, you know, with all of these hours and stuff, you know, when the bud tenders are making $1 less than me, but they're also netting, you know, servers' tips every day. It's hard to, you know, be managing people that are making $5 to $10 more an hour than you.
I understand your frustrations with the more hours we ask you to work, the lower dollar rate you get. But right now, it's as busy as we're ever probably going to be, and as chaotic, and we're going to require as many hours as we're ever going to require. Those things, I think, are going to balance out a lot. And when you look at the future for these people, their resume is going to say bud tender. Whereas managers, you get to put in your resume management.
Brian and Caitlin are definitely starting to change.
It's also supply and demand. There are a lot of managers that are willing to work in this industry for that pay. Paying you more doesn't make you safer. It just makes you stay in that position, right?
I mean, if I get a gun pointed at my head, regardless of if I end up getting shot in the head, I still have to deal with the fact that I got a gun pointed at my head. That's traumatic.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, you'd be willing to get robbed for more money. Is that right?
If you gave me $100,000 a year, I would be willing to get robbed. Yeah, absolutely.
Other people would be willing to get robbed for $35,000. People have different expectations for different pay in life.
Unfortunately, when it comes down to it, I don't think we will ever be able to justify $100,000 a year.
Mean, that was an exaggeration, but I'm
managers
saying,
or assistant managers.
If you want to talk about is money is money factor into that? Yeah.
How am I supposed to be happy with $13 an hour when I watched them bring in $100 grand in 3 days?
You want more pay for that risk, and maybe that's where we're going to differ, because other people would take that risk for the same pay. I mean, other than that, I thought you were happy, so all of a sudden hear that 48 to 54 hours a week and $35,000 is not enough when you work so well for $11.50 an hour or whatever it was all last year. Now, I know you could do your homework and whatever else it were because it was slow and the risk was maybe a little bit smaller. I feel like it's a giant jump and it's a great, I don't know. You might personally think you need more pay for your position and we might just disagree.
I've been here for 9 years, since 2005. I've lived in several towns across the country. I've never lived in a town that has been so generous in terms of what it does for not only the people, but the workforce, as well as a lot of the non-for-profit organizations in the community. It's really a giving community. Everybody is on the town council in order to make the community even better. Nobody is out to obviously damage the brand or the image. They want to be part of making Breck even a better community than it already is. And that's one of the things I like about Breckenridge is everybody's trying to make it even better. Now, with that, as different issues come up, everybody has their own internal compass. And, whether it's folks that supported them in an election or it's just their own internal compasses, they are going to see issues a particular way.
In September of 2013, we thought council would be reasonable, but it ended up being 5-1 against us.
We voted to mandate that the retail sale of marijuana would be prohibited in the downtown core of Breckenridge.
Ben Brewer was the one yes. Then we had John Warner, the mayor. He voted against us. Jennifer McAtammy voted against us. Mike Dudek voted against us. Wendy Wolf was actually recused and couldn't vote, and Gary Gallagher voted against us. Mark Burke was absent.
We collected over $120,000 in taxes in January. In taxes. We had to go hand that to the people that voted to kick us out of our location.
This council screwed us, clear as day. They screwed us right out of everything we worked for.
One evening, one vote, and they took everything away from us. This location is everything.
We played by the rules, and they still kicked us out of Main Street. We have 5 weeks until we have a new town council.
April 1st, we have an election coming up. Breckenridge is going to have 3 seats open. Jen, you're term limited, so...
This is my swan song on Breck Buzz.
Yes.
If the current members of council aren't going to come around and be reasonable and do what I believe the people want, keep us on Main Street, raising this tax revenue, I'm going to do what it takes to get the new council members to be more reasonable.
We need to work to get council members in there that are going to side with us.
People that are much younger.
In touch.
People in touch.
We've already had 3 of the candidates running for a seat contact us specifically, and I think I know what they want to talk about.
Marijuana is so mainstream, especially in this town, they're contacting us to support them publicly.
I think we need to make some donations.
We need to come up with a budget of what we can do to support these people. If you want to sell marijuana to tourists, and if you want that tax revenue, it's the Breckenridge Cannabis Club downtown. "5 weeks away.
That's what we need to do.
And we'll stay right where we are.
I hope they're successful. I know that they've been working on expanding. I hope that all of it goes as well as it possibly could. They've put years and years of their life into this business. I wish them nothing but the best. But I'm just wondering, with all this money coming in, I'd see Brian and Caitlin get new cars, makeovers, new clothes, which is awesome. They are the owners of the business. Hell yeah, but you didn't do it alone. You know, it's hard to count hundreds of thousands of dollars by hand when you don't feel like you're getting even close to what you deserve for the work you put into it. At the end of the day, it's their business, obviously. That's their time and money that they've put into that. So when you put the numbers into that equation, I leave. So I did.
Give us 100 days and we'll have $1 million worth of marijuana here.
Cash is king in this business, and Brian's got a shit ton.
they're gonna have a target painted on their back.
This makes me nervous. I mean, is that real?
Brian's holding all the cards right now, and the other dispensaries are a little bit empty-handed.
Like carpetbaggers, they want in and they want to part.
I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars. Like, you have to understand, we have to do something.
We are a great soap opera right now. These guys filming it are loving this.
It's hard to want to keep working when everything else is so hard.
We got to end this because otherwise I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
This is a big boy operation now. There's no more games.